of Renee O'Connor, who you just referenced, Zena, she's in this show. Can you tell me how that came about?
Yes, well, my beautiful production team in New Zealand just somehow were able to get Renee in the country. We really had to convince the government of her value to the show and to the fan base and everything, because there's not many spots, even less now than there were then, but to allow people to come in the country, so especially foreigners. So I really thank Greenstone for making that possible, because this is such a love letter to the fans that we always wanted to do, and finally we were able to pull it off. And she plays this wonderful role with whom I have a kind of a spicy relationship, and her son in the character's son is played by her real son, Miles. Welcome home.
You missed the hallway camera. Good, but not excellent.
What the hell are you playing at now?
Whatever you were doing in there, I'll be able to find a way to see it.
Sadly, you weren't. I'm getting a restraining order. If either of you ever set foot on this property again, I'll have you arrested.
So lovely. And have you two guys stayed very tight this whole time?
Yeah, there's been some years where we would talk less than others, but Ren and I've seen her so much in the last couple of years. Quite a lot, actually. Yeah, she's coming on a trip with me to help me in a little project we've got going on. So she's just coming out of the goodness of her heart and giving me great advice, and yeah.
I was talking to someone recently, it was I think Tig Notaro, who was telling me how now she kind of really only takes work where she feels like she's going to have a great time, like with the people. The actual experience almost means more to her than what the actual project is in and of itself. Do you feel like that's something that you feel now, especially given like all the changes that we've all gone through in the last year and a half? Is that a priority?
No, I don't really feel like that. You know my connection with Tig, don't you?
I don't. Oh,
she used to babysit my child. She worked for my husband, and she was like the world's rottenest production assistant, but she was so hysterical. My husband just kept her on and on and on. And I went to a wedding in Gulfport, Mississippi a couple of years ago, and she's one of those very dear spirits, as well as a great comedian. She's such a good soul.
I think I'm still of that school of wanting to make sure that I work with people that I really like, and it sounds like you've been really lucky in your career that you've genuinely been able to find some gems that you've worked with.
Oh yeah. Well, I feel like most people are good. You do get a few stinkers, but very few. So, and you know what? Sometimes the stinkers are the most interesting. My makeup artist and I, Steph, when we meet somebody who is really like just an alien being, we are magnetized. We're like, who are you? We triangulate and we gotta figure out what makes you tick, because you are like nobody we ever met before. And
anyway, use it for a character later. I think that's something that I find whenever I meet someone deeply unpleasant in this industry. I'm like, I'm going to siphon what I can from you, put you in something that I find inspiring later on. So was it surreal being opposite Renee on screen again?
Yeah, but, well, actually, no, it wasn't surreal. It was like sinking into a warm bubble bath. Like, this is just such a like a relief, or just what was it? It's like oh my God, I find myself home. That's what it's like.
Did you feel at all anxious the night before? Just excited?
I was so excited to wake up and go, oh, thank God. I woke up every morning going, thank God I get to go and work with Renee again. And Michael, who played Eolus and who back on Hercules, and he was Renee's, Gabrielle's love interest sometimes, I think. Anyway, he was our director on this show, and Mark Beasley was one of our directors on Xena, and he was our producer. So it was a real getting the band back together. It was beautiful.
You play such strong characters in pretty much everything you've ever done, and I think that strongly resembles who the person that I've learned about. Obviously, I don't have the privilege of knowing you personally yet, but one of the
you'd have to win the lottery for that.
fine. I'm going to find you via Ting. I would love to talk to you about your passion when it comes to activism. If you would talk to me about that and how you've been able to kind of, I don't know, straddle both having a career in the spotlight and also fighting for the causes that you care about, and how one maybe helps the other.
Well, I'm a climate change activist. The truth is, I didn't make the show to. There are sort of embedded ideas about we set one story in the LGBT, well, actually in the drag world, and there was lots of sort of lessons about what the pronoun business in that is sort of embedded in the story, right? But it should never be didactic. People should never turn on the TV expecting or getting a lesson. Do you know what I mean? It's just part and parcel of elegant storytelling, which was I'm really proud of that. So there was a bit of that stuff, and in our show we are also really committed to raising up talent and bringing up new writers and women, minorities, all that sort of stuff. Stuff's longer, but caring about enriching our community and the creative community. But the truth is, this show, I just want people to have a good time, because the world's really bleak at the moment, really stressful, and just sometimes you just need to be soothed and have a nice little psychic holiday. So it's like, come to my town, let's solve a murder and hang out and eat popcorn, and you're gonna feel good at the end of the hour. That is my activism. That's what I want to give to our audience, and so I'm grateful to Acorn for helping me do that.
And you're slipping in some great messaging along the way. Even if you're not trying to slip in lessons. I just did a show with Mike Scher, who I know and The Good Place was a comedy that had lots of inappropriate humour, but buried within that humour were really important. I don't want to use the word lessons, because then it feels like we were preaching to people, but they were. It was an important direction towards a moral compass of happier people. That we were all examples of unhappy people, and it was a show about empathy and how people arrive at where they're at. I think your show definitely does a wonderful job at that. There's so much humanity and humour and all of these things where you never feel like you're being manipulated in any one direction. And I'm thrilled that Acorn and you were able to collaborate on a show like this. I love Acorn because I'm able to watch all my favourite shows over wherever I am in the world, and I travel so much, and so particularly British comedy, but also stuff from everywhere. And two shows that I think you should definitely look out for if you haven't watched them already. One of which is Mrs. Fisher's Modern Murder Mysteries.
Who is this girl? I mean, Peregrine Fisher.
You're Franny Fisher's niece.
God knows I need a good detective right now.